Well, hello everyone, Alex here, and today we are gonna do a beginner's guide. Haven't done one of those in a while. Just played yesterday a brand new account for a day just to remind myself a little bit of the state of mind for beginners. Also at the mid-game account that's about to go into having two teams in main stages, so like 30 something in main stages. And I have this endgame account, which I'm at main stage 58, and I'm doing very well here. So, first of all, this game is a hero collector game where you want to collect many characters, especially their epics and legendaries. So, if you talk about the colors here, those are immediately unusable. They're uncommons, you won't do anything with them. The elites are for like your first week of playing the game. I know some people were using him because he puts out silence. Where is it? Yeah. In Crisis Watch for a little while, so maybe if you're not level capped you can use him there. But the blue characters are very much for your first couple of days of playing the game, and then they become obsolete. Also, the maximum level they can reach is 160. And then you have the elite characters. Elite characters are usable for like a month of playing the game. Some of them are very nice. So she's a very nice early game healer. Many people are using Hunter as a very nice DPS. Freeze is a character many people recommend as an early game tank, but also them, the maximum level they can reach is level 220, or the Scarecrow is nice if you have Ivy, but they aren't, won't be used forever, and you want to graduate to epics and legendaries, which it's not always that the legendaries are way stronger than the epics, but it's kind of the case. Like most legendaries are a bit stronger than a lot of epics. There are some epics that, for example, like Nightwing or even John Constantine and Zatanna, Pandora, Ocean Master, that are better and more important than a lot of legendaries. And there's also a conversation to be had about availability, because you can rank up a lot easier your epics, while the legendaries are a lot harder to do. So, and they reach a maximum rank of 8. They don't have emblems, so you will be using rares and elites for a little while, but you relatively quickly want to graduate to epics. There's also like a intermediate time period where it will be easier for you to have elites at a higher rank than epics, and after that you will be using their fragments for upgrading epics, and the purple fragments to upgrade legendaries. So you will make will get some value out of pulling those characters more and more, and it's definitely that which you want to have your best heroes, and they put them together in a way that they make strong teams. One thing to consider is which character have the team synergy, or like it's like a leadership ability that some characters, if you pair them with some different characters that have a specific tag, or can just be like a tank and support many times, which is a lot easier to fulfill. You build a team around one of those. Only one can be active at a time, so it doesn't matter if you can fill many. And those who are very flexible for early game. This is very strong if you have Sinestro. Those are niche, but they're kind of nice. This is one of the best. This is very strong. And some of them are just used like a lot more situational. Uh, but besides like character acquisition and team building, it's also to a big degree a resource management game. You get a lot of resources, like even like the pools for them that I'm going to talk about. You want to manage them correctly. You want to manage your diamonds, which you can do many things with them. They're the premier currency in the game. You want to manage your nuts and bolts that allow you to upgrade gear, your gold, your gear pieces, the pieces to upgrade the artifacts eventually. So there's a lot of things where a big part of the game is planning and prioritizing some things over others that they make the most impact into the game. And for example, the epic artifacts are better than the elites, and it's very common for people to max out lasso first. The gear pieces, those two here, attack set and communication device, can have a attack bonus or defense or HP bonus. So let me show you. It can be attack bonus, can be HP bonus, and can be crit. And this one can be attack bonus, can be block bonus, and can be HP bonus. So those are stronger than the base like attack, defense, HP that other pieces have, or like many of those pieces have. It's like 10% maybe to pull something which has a bonus percentage, but they end up being strong, especially a little bit later on in the game where this multiply by your character stats. So the more levels you have on characters and ranks, it will be amplified even more. So prioritizing your gear investment to those two pieces makes a lot more sense. Or here, HP bonus basically a staple in contrast with just defense, because HP bonus 5% is a lot more impactful, but it costs the same to upgrade them. This, generally speaking, is not that great as a piece. Attack bonus here is very nice to have, especially on DPS, or crit on DPS is also nice to reach, and the more you upgrade the gear, it becomes more and more expensive. Also, you have to consider, like, you start with a more basic gear. I don't have them available. I use them to upgrade other ones. So, but you might want to consider, like, do you want to have a epic without the little diamond on top? That's a lot cheaper to upgrade, but gives you smaller stats. Do you want to upgrade? So if you see the difference, it's 4% attack bonus, 6% crit. This gives you 4.5% and 7%, but it costs basically double to upgrade. Or you want to go for like the more diamonds they have, the more expensive they are to upgrade, but they also give you bigger stats. You don't have unlimited resources to upgrade your characters, so you want to prioritize, maybe on your best characters you want to have the more expensive pieces. And the game is very forgiving. You can use older gear to upgrade a new one. Let's see one that I don't have upgraded. So for example, you have this piece here, you can use it to upgrade a new one. And there's many things in the game that are very forgiving. You can character retrain some elites that you haven't you have wrongly invested into early game. If you have already done the level, then it gives you and it costs only 5 little diamonds. If you have done all the level retaining, then it gives you the chance to retain the rank that usually I wouldn't do, but you might need those fragments to upgrade other characters. You can retain your artifacts. For example, you can go here and press this, and if you just cost 50 diamonds to get those back. So you may have an investment into a more basic one like this one, and you regret it because then you have the epics, then you can select this here and take those back and send them into epic artifact, which gives you also more shots. If you see, it gives you plus 10% HP, plus 10% attack, 15% crit, and 15% damage amplification, while this just gives you 6% and 6 attack and or HP and attack, and those have a third that gives you 8%. So prioritization, also something super important that I see many people like, even with gear, if you are upgrading gear, you generally speaking want to stop into the level. Let's get like here, for example, or let's put a new piece. Let me find this one, for example, that gives you attack bonus. That's very strong. So this one, if you are upgrading it, you either want to stop at level 10, which will give you crit stat extra, or at level 20, which will also give you defense, or level 30, which will give you HP bonus and allows you to put the signature stat on, which basically gives you extra stats on a specific character if you have this piece on. So this will always give 6% HP bonus to Wonder Woman. I can move it to a different character. Just the 6% HP bonus is only applied when it's on Wonder Woman. And if you want to have one on a different character, maybe you want to do a signature for a different piece. So don't stop with gear at level 1, 2, 3, or maybe unless you want to do like a daily stuff, like weekly, where it says enhance equipment 5 times, or like here it has enhance equipment 5 times, then you can level them up 5 levels at a time per day. But it really makes no sense. It gives you very little things extra to bring it at level 7, 8, or 9. You either bring it to 10 and then to 20 and then to 30. It doesn't really make sense to stop in between. And the same as the emblems, that you want to do all of them at level 5 originally, because it gives you a second stat, which is very impactful. Then you want to bring them at level 10, which changes skill of a character. Then at level 15, which will give you more of the second stat. Then level 20, which will make a second, make the skill do a second thing extra. Then 25, and then 30, and yeah, which also gives you one more skill, or changes the skill for the better. And then you have to make a decision for legendaries that you can bring to level 40. There's no 35 here, which gives you something important. 40 is very, very expensive. Generally speaking, I wouldn't recommend to do that as free to play. At least not early game. So it makes no sense to upgrade all your characters equally to like badge level 13 or 23. No, you bring one character to 15, then you bring a different character to 20, or the same to 20, because those take different materials to upgrade. Then you select one character of each color, because they give you, there's like pieces here that might be, that can allow you to upgrade different characters, like mighty, agile, and tactical. So you take 3 levels at a time, and you have this universal, which can be formed into any of the 3. So you maybe push like Pandora to 25, and let's say Superman DCU to 25, and Synergies to 30. You don't bring all of your roster first to 21, then 22. I think I made my case here that the difference here to bringing a character from 24 to 25 is massive, while the difference of bringing a character from 20 to 24 is very, very small. It's not worth it, especially if it will delay bringing a character to 25 or to 30. Some of those are a little bit more important than others. Zatanna to 30 is something that we really, really want to rush. Nightwing to 25 is super impactful with the block amount he gets. Also, same thing with the artifacts, obviously. You want to rank them up, tier them up one at a time, because you will get the extra 15% crit, and not just spread them apart just to have like a little bit more attack here. Like the attack where he will be getting 30%, 30 more attack. It's a lot less impactful than giving a character like 10% attack at the total or 15% crit rate. Also, in the way you rank up characters, you kind of want to prioritize, because at rank 6, you see, needs to be rank 6 to unlock the character's emblem. That can be very impactful. When you unlock it, then you want to bring a character to rank 8 for them to be able to get artifacts, which really make a character a lot stronger. So maybe you don't want to equally bring characters first to 6, then to 7, then to 8, all of them. Maybe you want to bring one character to 8, then a couple of characters to 6, just so they take advantage of the emblem. Then you can prioritize the character to bring to 8, because those aren't unlimited. You will be getting dry of them and require them a lot. And pick a specific legendary that you want to prioritize, and maybe use your 8th metal on. Okay, so let's talk banners now. Originally you will be getting one here where you can select either Wonder Woman, Flash, or Superman. You need to select Wonder Woman. It's by far the best character, and you want to focus those primarily to unlock her. And you pull a lot of the epic recruitment, because early game you have an event here where next to the event center where you can unlock Batmobile, and it's really, really strong and very nice to have. Can help you everywhere pretty much. So originally you just want to unlock as many characters as you want, rank them up to some degree, do what the Batmobile says you to do until you unlock it. I would never use 8th metal on an epic character. It's a big waste, and early game you don't know that, because you're giving a lot from the adventure here. You have they have like a 8th metal as a reward, unless it's the last day and it can help you do an upgrade, for example at rank 8, an epic that will allow you to get the Batmobile, which you otherwise wouldn't unlock. Otherwise, you just save those for legendaries, because legendary fragments are a lot harder to get than epics. It might feel good in the short term upgrading an epic, so you don't have to wait, but then you have to wait a lot more for legendary eventually, and it's not worth it. And after a while, you want to take into account that after beating 1830, you unlock the artifact system, which you want to allocate some. You can buy them with diamonds if you don't know that, so you can buy here and pull for them. And you want to allocate some of your diamonds to pull for artifacts, especially to have good artifacts on your cards that are at rank 8 that can use them. So you can balance that. You bring more characters to rank 8, then you unlock many artifacts to put on them. and then you bring more characters to rank 8, then you rank the artifacts up higher, because again, many very nice stuff, like for example, this will give you 3 stacks of haste and of frantic for 2 turns if you unlock upgrade a bit more, or lifesteal. This will give you extra crit damage for the first ultimate, or damage amplification. Those are nice many times, like gives you 20% damage reduction till the end of the battle, and it heals for 20% of max HP. It can be super impactful upgrading an artifact, and it's something to keep in mind, and also juggle of where you allocate your diamonds together with upgrading your characters or unlocking new ones. And after a while, you kind of want to save those for future recruitments only, where there's new characters to unlock. And same as the legendary ones, so after you upgraded Wonder Woman, you can use the super encrypted tokens not on those. This is banner here, and this, generally speaking, is not worth it, because it's very expensive by diamonds to get a new legendary. You hoard those up and use them where there is a banner for legendary. Let's talk shops real quickly. Here, usually you want to buy this, of course, the one artifact pool, because it costs 100 instead of 200, that's one per day. You also want to buy the titanium. If you have many diamonds, you always buy the titanium here, where it costs 100 at least. It gives you for 8 hours. It's really a big bottleneck in the game, the titanium. You may want to buy a couple of those, especially if you're close to unlocking a Wonder Woman, or you really want to pull a new legendary, but it's also becoming very expensive to keep buying those. You can buy many things with gold, especially in a game where you need them, but if you're buying everything with gold, you many times get bottlenecked by gold, so there's that. This is something that you will have an advantage of relatively early on, so it's good to stop spending gold at least on that. It's very nice to always buy those two here, because you need many of those. Like the first time it costs 300 and 180. I always buy those the first time. Maybe sometimes I will buy something like this, like with 300 or this, if I'm really bottlenecked and I want to do an important upgrade. But otherwise, there are many things here that aren't worth it at all. Like 2000, it's outrageous, and you can't really buy everything. Or gear in here is very expensive, and those are just cosmetics. You may want to buy like a couple of those in the first days if you're stuck in an Elseworld that otherwise you will clear if you revive once your character, but you will have a lot of those to spare. And those, I guess, if you're really pushing for arena ranking early game, but you will have enough from those free to play as well. Here always buying the basic gear, when you can you buy those, because you need many of those, and prioritizing the pieces that have a percentage. If you see here, it says percent random attribute is the the first stat is random here, while here it's the last, and the first can be percentage, which is a lot more impactful than having a base HP stat, to have one of those with HP bonus. So I would prioritize those, but also, like for the zombies character, you can try to do a specific set. I have many videos on many of the things I have talked about, like gear. I have many videos on gear that you may want to look into to go more advanced on that. Arena shop, there's many characters like Ocean Master that are really worth buying, and later on you want to spend those for 8th metal. Elseworld Nightwing is an awesome character to buy, and also those to upgrade your reinforcements. But also Batman is a very nice character Here, of course, you buy the legendary that you have, like Wonder Woman, you buy your epic characters, you can select characters, epics to upgrade every week, and you can even take the newest characters that aren't usually available, like those here at the moment, and you pick a specific legendary to rank up here, so that's very nice. The league shop, you can do the same. You can buy fragments that are nice to spend on. Those you will be bottlenecked a lot later on. I wouldn't rush them. The purple ones are very big bottleneck, but maybe early game you might need a little bit of those. As you see, also buy the ones that you can pull for artifacts and the nuts and bolts, because they're very scarce. Sometimes here there is like Superboy, it's a nice character to chase here, or Raven fragments. So let's talk a bit game modes and gameplay. So the more you push the main sages, the more rewards you will be getting here per time past those cap at 12 hours. So keep that in mind. Maybe you want at least log in twice per day to collect those. But besides that and team ups, there isn't really energy into this game. It's more like you have unlimited tries and you just are stopped by the level you are and by how much investment you have into your characters. But main stage is definitely something that you really want to push as much as you can. If you can, remember that in the first couple of days you can save the pulls here, because you will be getting more rewards if you pull them later. But after a while, it doesn't really matter. It's a very minuscule difference. Better to just get them out of the way early on and be done with it. And yeah, pushing main sages. Also, like warning, I think in chapter 34, it makes you have to use 2 teams, and after 10 chapters after that, 44, it requires you to use 3 teams, and it's always every third. It's like a boss fight. The first 2 you just need 1 team that are very weak minions, but every 3 fights, like 58-3, it needs to have more and more teams. Eventually, you also need 3 teams in Elite Arena, and the game, generally speaking, is of building teams, not just 1 team. You need many different teams to convert this crisis. There's some game modes like Evil Falls. There's many bosses that you want to look. They're recommended here where it says, and try to use those characters here. So you want to build different teams for specific scenarios. Of course, you need a stronger team that you can use in main arena and in main sages, but then you want a second team for main sages. So you kind of slowly keep that in mind and build a couple of teams that they may have also some extra characters that you can plug and play depending on the situation. But you don't really need like a lot more than, let's say, 20 characters. You won't be using them very often. It's 5 characters, 3 teams, like 15 characters. You can get a lot of content done, and then slowly maybe have a couple of characters for specific scenarios. Also, league challenges are very have specific requirements. So here you will be needing, on the first one, you need the area of effect, burn, back row. Here on the second one, it's sealed, it's a single target damage and debuff, and this fluctuates. It's a sacrifice, block, and now they have added the dampen tag. So as much as you can, you kinda want to hit 2 birds with 1 stone, to use some teams that are used everywhere and they are strong. So you have 3 main stages teams that are basically the same as your 3 Elite Arena teams that you are also using in many Evil Falls, in team ups, in league challenges. and you just build a couple of characters to the side for that. For example, a guy is awesome in the first league challenge, can really help you ramp up your score. Let's talk gameplay, but as far as the game mode prioritization, yes, you want to push main stages to unlock more stuff early on and have more rewards here, but there isn't really like, okay, you can maybe prioritize PvP a little bit more, like Elite Arena. In Arena, the rewards aren't as important as other games because it pays out only once per week, and like a difference in a bracket is not that massive. That will change a lot of stuff. And Elite Arena is every 2 weeks. There's some nice rewards, and if you are in the top 64, also allows you to go into the Victor's Arena. Can I see the rewards here? I don't. Yeah. So the rewards here are very, very nice, but it's also very difficult to reach the first spots. It's a little bit, you push everything. It's not like a big diversion to push a different game mode than it might be in other games. Like a little bit like you want to push main stages or like player versus environment content, or PvP. There is a little bit of a few characters like for example Red Hood, way stronger in PvP than PvE. Or more late game, you may want to push league challenges that they have some very nice rewards. So here being in a better league is really impactful, and also those help you pull more characters and get epic and legendaries potentially. And you can buy many stuff here in the store. So those here are weekly, definitely very nice to have. But to a big degree, you kind of want to do all, especially early on in the game, to want to build characters that are strong everywhere and less niche. And that's pretty much achievable. I have like tier list, I have top 10 characters. You can look at those up, but the characters that I have here are high investment into, generally speaking, are stronger. Many times like the legendaries aren't as available. Let's just quickly give some tips for a gameplay that you may not be aware of. Not the best example, but I don't have unlocked the main stages, so I'm gonna roll with it. So usually there is one more person like behind the penguin, and like the three on the top left of your screen as you're looking at it, like penguin, the minion behind him, and that one person in the middle between like the minion and Ivy that normally is in the main stages, are all hitting with their basics and many times with their advanced attacks. Where Nightwing is, while Ivy and the character where Ivy's spot is and the minion in front of her are hitting at where Blue Beetle is. So the position where I have Nightwing at the moment is the main tank that you need to have a higher investment into, or like care more about their survivability and have a beefier character with artifacts that help them with that. And the character where you have Blue Beetle is a little bit more supportive and can get away with being a little bit squishier. When those characters are dead, then they will start targeting more your back row that correspond with where their placement is. Many times you want to have like a support in here. A mistake many people are doing, they're throwing just too many DPS, like 4 DPS in a team, or even 3 many times is too much. You want to have 1 or 2 DPS, you want to have 1 or 2 supports and 2 tanks. Usually you can throw some characters in the front row that aren't tanks that can work in many situations, either because you have a high lifesteal rate, or because they revive, like Red Hood, or Mr. Terrific deflects attacks and sends them to the back row, so he's really working the front row. But you want to, and also your characters are targeting specific. So if I want Wonder Woman, one of those two spots will be targeting Penguin. But if I want her to target the minion, I should have her here. And the same applies for your tanks, but your tanks, you mainly care about who they are hit by rather than who they're hitting. So let's play this a little bit. First, if you can follow that, you need to do 3 basics to get 3 energy. So then you can use an ultimate. Then you need to do 5 basics to get, Wonder Woman is dead, to get 4 energy. And they are showed here in the left part of the screen, the blue characters. And then there's 5 basics to get 5 energy until the end of the match. So you can kind of manage that of bringing characters that have a cooldown, like for example, their energy costs 2, so you can have a character with their energy costing 2, like Zatanna, and one like with 3, like with Wonder Woman, always using 2 ultimates together. And having speed set on your characters will have them put out more basics or advanced attacks faster, and you get more energy to use your ultimate faster. So speed is definitely a nice stat to have. So besides that, if I want to give some tips for pushing content, it's super important to change things around, to experiment, to move the positioning, because maybe the support minion behind Penguin is hitting the character where he is, so you may want to have, like if you have her with Zatanna, you want to have her because you might Dane, or you want to have Zatanna because you sacrifice her and you just say okay, she's gonna die quicker. You may want to have try a different team altogether. Many times what helps you push like the main stages is changing your teams around, using your first team on the second and the second on the first, or using specific characters that counter others. For example, if there is a Robin there, there's many things you can do. You can use like a Raven to revive the character that dies quickly. You can put a tank in the back row to absorb Robin's attack in the corresponding position where Robin is hitting. You can have Wonder Woman with Zatanna and hoping that she drains back up and she's a little bit beefier, and sacrifice Zatanna. You can have a healer try to heal them up. You can try with a shield with someone like Lex. You can have Red Hood that revives. You can have someone in the front row that protects the back row so they get less damage. Blue Beetle does that passively, and also Peacemaker puts out every turn a shelter that makes you take 50% less damage. So there's a lot of strategy and thinking about what the opponents are doing, and you do something that counters them to some degree. And many times it's just like experiment, try something different, try a different character, maybe this will work. Maybe change the teams around, and the second team for whatever reason beats the first team. Many times when you're stuck in the main stages or in system recovery to a small degree in other game modes, you can hire mercenaries from your team and push some content even more. And also one last thing, like super important, if you want to push something, especially like for better scores in league challenges, but also in many types of content that you are using a specific team and not 3, especially when you do that. But you can also do something similar with 3 teams, just keep in mind when you change something on a character, it will affect a different character, is moving artifacts around. For example, if I'm not using Wonder Woman, but I will be using Ivy on League Challenge, I can put her gear and artifact very quickly on her. And when I'm finished, I bring them back up, and that way I don't have to heavily invest into new gear for all the characters that I'm not using extremely regularly. But when I'm pushing something specifically, I can get advantage of the investment that I have on gear and artifact pieces here.